Hey everybody, Larry Lawton here. I'm really in a bad way right now. I was reading the paper and I've been going a deep dive on this Memphis police beating of a man. I mean, it's just, it blows me away. This Tyre Nichols gets killed by 4 cops. It's not a race thing, and we're going to get into that in a minute. But before I get started, I got to just talk about my book a little bit. It's still going great, everybody. Gangster Redemption. You want to hear about some bad stories? I'm lucky I'm alive. From being pissed on to being beaten in prison by guards. So it goes on with a lot of authority. I'm smoking my Crooked Diamond. Website's up. Check it out, guys. It's really great. Really is a great book. And I love it. And I got to thank Oliva Cigars. I mean, they really did all this with me. And I'm also thanking you, Wager. They're part of what we do as well. But you can check all this stuff out in the links below. I'm going to get into this video, everybody, because I did a deep dive. I did a live show the other day, and people were asking me about what I think about the Memphis cops and this and stuff. You know, I heard very little. I mean, now it's all over the place. After that show, I did a deep dive on this case, and I will tell you what. This case, and I'm a little older than a lot of most people here. I remember the Rodney King beating in I think it was 92. When he was beaten by LA cops, and it changed policing. I don't know if this one's going to change policing either. That one did at that time. This one, I don't know, guys. I really don't know. 4 Memphis police officers, Teadrius Bean, Demetrius Haley, Emmett Martin, Desmond Mills, and Justin Smith are charged with second-degree, this is what they're charged with, second-degree murder, aggravated assault, aggravated kidnapping, official misconduct, and official oppression. We're going to get into the charges here in a little bit as well. But let me tell you exactly what happens. Here's this guy, and people are already pissing me off. They're saying, well, you should never talk back. You should never run from the cop. I get it. No, you're not. But how many times has somebody got to get beaten before they say, I got to get out of here. I got to get away from these people. I got to get where there's other people. What really blows me away, these cops had body cameras on with voice. They had to know that all of this would have been filmed. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, if you're willing to do that when you know you're being filmed, what did these cops do when there were no fucking cameras? Really? It blows me away. I'm sitting here dumbfounded on either the stupidity or the lack of humanity, and we're going to get into that. Well, what the case itself is, this kid, Tyre Nichols, all he did was being stopped for suspected reckless driving. What is that? I don't even know. They didn't find a gun. He did not run from a robbery, although even if he was, I don't care. You are talking about a massive police brutality here. And it's deeper than just the brutality you saw, and we're going to get into that as well. So he's going, and they pull him over. He gets out of the car. They say, get down on your knees. And he does get down on his knees. And no, they're screaming, "Oh, flat on your face." He goes, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. He's panicking. He knows what happens. There's reputations, man. This thing is bad right now. It's so bad that the police chief, which I got to give her a lot of credit, Cecilian Davis, she fired these guys right away. I mean, listen, I get that policing, you're going to have bad police. Listen, I really mean that. When you have any organization with 100 people or 500 people, you're going to have bad apples. I get that part of it. What pisses me off is you have 4 cops right there. Not one of them thought, stop, guys, stop. You're fucking kicking him. They were kicking him in the face like I was kicked, and a lot of people were beaten in prison. And I'm telling you, this was a brutal beating. They are doing waylays on this fucking guy. And I am feeling bad for this kid watching this video. And I had to watch it a bunch of times. Obviously, as a matter of fact, just yesterday, these cops got out of prison. 2 of them had $350,000 bonds. The other 2 had $250,000 bonds. Other 3. So there's 5 of them. Yeah, 5. So 4 of them. No, yeah, no 5. Man, it is so bad. This case, it blows my head away. So he died. This kid, listen to what happened too. This guy, after they beat him, they prop him up against the patrol car. He keeps falling down. And a neurologist who was interviewed said, that's because he's going in and out of consciousness and he can't hold himself up. And they're propping him up. Took the cops 33 minutes to get this guy into an ambulance. Think of what I just said. 33 minutes. Of course they don't want, they beat the shit, they literally beat the hell out of him. And then they sat there trying to figure out their stories under tape. You know, I really wish these kind of guys would go to a regular prison like I was in. I really do. I don't think they'd last a week. Not even a week. Whitey Bulger lasted a day and they got his eye out with a fucking shank and they were cutting his tongue out with a shank. I don't know what they would do to these guys. Now, it has nothing to do with black and white. Let's get that straight. There were 5 black officers and 1 black kid. At what point are we as a society going to say this has to stop? You know, everybody says calm in the streets, calm in the streets. I get it. I mean, violence doesn't really, only violence does is beget violence. Cops beat on people, people beat on other people. You know, that's proven. You know, it happens in prison all the time. And what's sad in prison is nobody gives a fuck about them. Well, I'm glad we have this camera. You know, I was one of the persons in my town instrumental in getting body cams to the police department. And I'm glad I did. Because these kind of incidents is what will destroy a city. Now, what's going to happen to these guys? These cops all are going to go away for a long time. When the trial comes, I'm going to do my video. And I'm the only one who picked out how much time Derek Chauvin would get for killing George Floyd. I picked the exact year. People go, what do you mean? Well, I read the PSI. I read everything. I read the sentencing transcripts. I knew what the judge was about. I did a lot of deep diving. And I did the law for so many years. I get to know, a lot about how they're going to act. Well, in this case, you know what they say, the video is going to say it all. What defense are you going to come up with? One of the lawyers, I get why lawyers do this, but I almost wanted to get through the TV and slap the shit out of him. Oh, there's always 2 sides to a story. What's the other side? Think about that. I don't care if you're a cop lover or a cop hater. This is wrong in every sense of the way. Anything you can think of right now, this is wrong. I saw this video maybe 20 times, and every time I saw it, I go, man, and he beating the shit out of this guy. I mean, they are not playing. And not one cop says, I'm going to destroy my family. This is not right. Forget even their own family. Why are we doing this to this kid? What did this kid do that he deserved a beating down? Didn't shoot a cop. Again, not right. Understandable, but not right. I don't know how any cop who sees this video and backs this video, I think he should be fired. You know where his mindset is. I don't give a shit. People say, oh, you're allowed to have that mindset, but I can act differently at work. No, you can't. If you're this fucked up, I'm telling you, you're going to be fucked up on the job. I am a supporter of good cops, people who know that. I don't know what these 5 officers were thinking. It really gives me really pause to say, is the police department that bad? Are they that bad? They were part of a team that they disbanded. Man, I can't even fucking get my thoughts together on this case because I said to Nick in here, I said, Nick, get the camera. I'm reading the paper and I'm reading a case about abuse and I'm reading this case again. I said, get the camera. I just got to do a video on it. I gotta express my feelings. I gotta express what I think is going to happen to the cops. I think they're out on bond. I'm not hating on that. People say, oh, they shouldn't. No, that's not true. I'm a big believer in bond. So I'm not here to say, oh, they shouldn't get bond. No, that'd be very hypocritical. So I do believe in bond, and they get bond, and they got it, $250,000 and $350,000, 2 of them. It's kind of funny how they posted that pretty easy. I mean, I don't know what these cops make over there, but that's not a drop in the bucket. If you put up 10%, you got to put up 35,000. And people, they don't want that. That bail bondsman wants it. But they put up their money. I don't know if it's the union. I don't know who it is. But there has to be, these unions have to come up with a system themselves to say, wait a minute. If you do something like that, we can't represent you. Because I'll tell you what, If I'm in a fucking union and one of my guys did that to somebody, I would beat the shit out of him. And people are saying, Larry, no, you wouldn't. You know, it's a brotherhood of bad cops. That's what I'm finding out. When I say that the whole criminal justice system needs revamping, it's got to start right there. Now, I will be honest and say this, it has come a long way in a lot of places. I happen to like the police department that I live in. I can call them up. I can call the chief up. I can talk to the cops here. The cops aren't being assholes. Yeah, I get an asshole cop every now and then. I laugh at him because he wants to show his power because he can pull me over with his fucking lights and siren. Like I really care. But if you have a serious problem here, you can go to the department and I think you'll get answers. So I think they've come a long way. I'm not saying some of these cops didn't do bad things, but I don't judge people for the past. I hope people don't judge me for my past. I'm not one of those people who say, oh, he did that 30 years ago. Let's hold him accountable. Whole bullshit, just like Brett Kavanaugh in the courts. He drank beer in the college and he had whatever, fun with girls. And now they grilled him like he was the worst guy in the world. If that's all you got on somebody, you better go get another job or just give up and support the guy and say he changed. The police here's changed. So I have seen it. I will say right now, to this day, the best police chief I've ever seen in my life, to this day, is Mike Force, because he thought about community policing first before anybody else, and he's in Lake St. Louis. He's retired. He was 25-year police chief, 25 years. Doesn't happen. The average tenure of a police chief in the United States is 3 years. Think of that, 3 years. And that guy's 25 years. Blows me away. I think what's going to happen to these 5 cops is they're going to go, I think their lawyers better get smart and say, listen, let's cut a deal. We got to cut a deal to get the best deal possible. Because if you go to trial with a jury, you are going to be hung and they're going to put you out to dry. And as they say in the courts, a lot of people don't know this. In the court system, if you go to trial, they're going to give you the max. Do that to all the people. That's one of their PowerPoints of trying to get people to plea. Hey, listen, if you plea, we're going to give you the low end of the guidelines. We're going to do the right thing. We're going to put you, we're not going to do the wrong thing. But if you fuck with us and you go to trial, we're going to hit you and we're going to slam you hard, whether it's a case what they call wild. These guys are charged with 5 charges. They're charged with second-degree murder, aggravated assault, guilty, guaranteed. The kidnapping one, I'm not going to buy. I think they could beat the kidnapping case. Aggravated kidnapping, look at the definition of kidnapping. I don't think it's a kidnapping. Official misconduct, absolutely. I did not know if that's an actual crime. It must be. And official oppression, too big of a word. I mean, it's the stupidest thing. Let's get to common sense. Let's get to the second-degree murder and aggravated assault. Every single one of them should be charged with and they are, with second-degree murder, and they should be found guilty. Now, when you get to sentencing, it becomes tricky because some people are more accountable to the crime. The guy that was kicking him in the face when he was down, that guy's going away. I mean, that guy should get the most time. The guy that was sitting in the back, he needs that time. You know why? Why didn't he stop him? I don't care. Anybody who came up to that scene and let that go on should be charged. Because you are now an accessory to a crime. You are taught in the academy, your integrity, the integrity of this police department and the oath that you take is more important than anything. Not that blue wall of silence. It's been a known thing. And you would think with all the cases that have been going on all over the country that the cops would be smarter than that, or they would start weaning them out. You got 5 bad actors in one little clique? What was going on in that place? Now, you know who's the next one who should be held accountable? Who's the supervisor of these guys? Who is the supervisor? I would love to know his evaluation. I'm not talking about the chief now. There's so many layers to the chief, but there's layers that got to be held accountable less and less and less. Because if there's 5 bad apples like that, whatever sergeant or whatever lieutenant, whoever's running that shift, running his stuff, has to know or he's not doing his job. I always say you can fix policing if you hire the right people. I don't know if they are corrupted by the system or they come into the system corrupt and they just become worse. I mean, I really don't. I think it's a really really good question for psychologists. All I know is I feel for the families. I don't know how the lady got up and said, stay calm, because I know me, and I'm telling you what, I don't know if that happened to my son or daughter. I'm telling you, I don't know. Look, I get the chills. Even when there's a case of black and a white and stuff, I'm not one to just call it racism. I want to know what the system is. I think it's police brutality. I think it's a way they do business. And I think it's a culture that they've got away with stuff for so many years. You know, you get a guy who's been in 10 years and you got the boss. Yeah, this is how you do it. You know, you make sure the camera's off. You get working with good guys. All of a sudden, the guys, you're all together. You go out, you party. Who the hell knows? I'd love to look into their private lives. Not one of them, not one of those 5 guys thought, I'm going to lose my life. I'm going to lose my family. Those guys didn't even care about their own wives and kids. Listen, I went to prison and I know what happened to me and I made bad choices, guys. I never, ever, ever try to defend that. And I never would. I know I hurt people. I hurt my kids, even the people that I robbed. Obviously, I didn't physically do any of that. What they did to them is 10 times worse than what I ever did to any jewelry store owner or anybody in that jewelry business or whatever I was robbed. I ruined lives for my daughter, the people, and everything. And it hits me. It took me, and it still takes me, many, many years to get over the fact that my daughter was 15 months old when I went to prison. I got out and she was 13. And my son was 7. I got out and he's 18. Well, these guys are going to have the same shit now. I don't know if they got young kids or old kids. They're all young. The cops are young. They're not old. The oldest cop is 32 years old. And the youngest is 24. So if they have kids, if they have any of that, they just lost their own kids' lives. They didn't even make money. At least I made money. How stupid are you? And if that's the people you're hiring, Chief, you better have some kind of policy change coming. You better do something. Yeah, you handle this right, but don't think that's where it ends. You better. I mean, I don't know what you could. Listen. I know how hard it is for a police chief right now. You know why? Nobody wants to be a cop. Nobody wants to be a cop. They don't pay them enough. They go in harm's way. Listen, the good cops. I will stick up for a good cop as much as I will bash a bad cop. You know why? Because if your house is robbed, what do? You don't call 411. You call 911. And you want that cop to get there. But you want a good cop to get there. You don't want a cop that's going to come in and say, what's going on, and slap the shit out of somebody. You don't want that. You want a cop to handle the situation. Now, I'm a big believer in that. I really am in what I'm doing. In fact, I'm going to announce something a little bit coming that I'm going to be doing a seminar for parents because this motivates me to make sure kids don't get in trouble, to go down that path. They don't need to be running into these people. Kids are kids. And if it's your kid, trust me. So stay tuned for that. We're going to be doing a lot about that. You're going to hear a lot about it. I did that for a lot of years, and that's what got my reputation up. And I'm going to do a big one here in Orlando. So that's coming in probably the beginning of August. So just giving you a heads up. But stay tuned. We'll let you know what's going on. And to end this video, I'm going to give a prediction. Every single one of them are going to take a plea deal. This is my prediction, and I want you to watch it. They're going to drop the kidnapping charge. I don't know what oppression is, so I'm going to leave that one alone. And if official misconduct's a crime, it's bullshit. It's just, I call that piling on. That's a prosecutor piling on. It's not needed. It's bullshit. And what is it, a negotiating tool? What are you facing for misconduct? Official misconduct. You could get 3 months? The fuck out of here. These guys are facing 2nd-degree murder and aggravated assault. Mega first-degree felons. The 2nd-degree murder, which is a felony. The 1st-degree felony, but it's a 2nd-degree murder. Just like armed robbery. It's a 1st-degree felony. You can have a robbery too. You can have a different thing. So my prediction is all 5 of these guys are going to plead guilty. I don't know if every one of them are going to plead guilty to the 2nd-degree murder. I was looking at one cop there, really barely did anything. Did he murder him? Should he be charged? Absolutely. Maybe 3rd degree. You know, there is a 3rd degree. Maybe manslaughter. Was it premeditated? When you say murder, that's premeditated. When you say a homicide or a manslaughter, something different. So that's an impulse thing. This was no impulse thing. They beat this guy to death. With that said, let's see how good I am with my prediction. And I want you guys to really take a hard look at yourselves. Make sure you don't get in any kind of trouble. And I want you to voice your opinion. I want you to comment right here because I'm going to be on this video all day tomorrow. I'm going to be answering questions on this video. This is an important video. So you're going to hear my thoughts from your questions. And listen, if you have them, you have them. I still don't hate you. I tell you that. We all have opinions. We all have assholes. Everybody has an opinion. Doesn't make me right, doesn't make you right. I think I'm right because I have experience in this kind of stuff. I've seen a lot of this stuff over the course of my life. I'm not a kid. I got to go back to a cigar because it's the only thing that's keeping me calm right now, and it's the Crooked Diamond. Everybody, please stay safe, make good choices, and I'll see you Thursday.